Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another meal prep video for you. I'm going to be sharing my favorite slow cooker chili and some cornbread, as well as a couple of pumpkin recipes and an apple recipe. So if you are interested in some super cozy and delicious recipes for the fall time, this will be the perfect video for you. And I also have a couple of new products to share with you in today's video. This video is sponsored by K-Nell, so thank you to K-Nell for sponsoring. They sent me their hand blender set as well as a new griddle, so I'm really excited to share those with you in today's video. But let's go ahead and get into all of these recipes. To start off, I'm making my favorite slow cooker chili. So of course I'm just spraying my slow cooker with a little bit of olive oil, and then I'm dumping in a pound of lean ground beef as well as 1 onion that is cooked and ready to go. I just sauteed it up in my pan. Then I'm also dumping in 28 ounces of petite diced tomatoes, a little can of tomato sauce, and then for the beans, I like to do 1 can of chili beans. No need to drain those off. And then I also do add in a can of black beans, but I make sure to rinse those ones off. And then I do like to add in a couple big scoops of minced garlic, as well as about a tablespoon of chili powder. I usually will add a little bit more later on, but I start off with about a tablespoon. And then I'm probably adding in about a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cumin, a little bit of onion powder, some garlic powder, as well as about a teaspoon of cocoa powder and a teaspoon of sugar just to cut some of the acidity, and then just a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. And that's pretty much it for seasonings. I'm just mixing this up, and I'm gonna cook this on low for about 7 to 8 hours, and it should be good to go. You can add in a little bit of water if you want, just to thin out your chili. I added in just a tiny bit this time, maybe like a 1/4 cup, and then I just let it cook for the rest of the day. This is after about 7 or 8 hours. I did add in a little bit of extra chili powder and some salt and pepper, and then it was good to go. I did decide to pair mine with some cornbread. Nothing special here. I just used the box of Jiffy muffins that you can get at the store. Mixed those all up and threw them in the oven. This was a super quick and easy dinner since I had a lot of meal prep to get done. So this is a great easy meal for the fall time. I think there's nothing more cozy than a good chili with some cornbread muffins. I'm curious what you all eat when you make chili. I know a lot of people serve it with cornbread muffins or even saltine crackers. That's what I grew up eating it with. But I also love to serve our chili over rice. That's one of my other favorite ways. And it also bulks up the meal a little bit and makes it stretch a little bit farther. So let me know down in the comments what you like to eat with your chili, because I'm really curious what everyone else does. I just served this chili with a little bit of shredded cheese on top, as well as some sour cream, and it made it super delicious. You guys are definitely going to want to try this recipe if you like chili. It is also freezable, which is what I'm doing with all of the leftovers. Since this is a meal prep video, you know I had to make this meal stretch into 2 of them. So I'm taking all of my leftovers and just throwing them into a gallon Ziploc, and this is going right into my freezer. This is going to get pulled out on a busy weeknight when I don't want to cook, when the kids are being crazy, and this will just be super easy for later on. Now we are moving on to probably my favorite recipe in this whole entire meal prep video. We are going to be making some pumpkin energy balls. They turned out super delicious. So here I have 1/2 cup of creamy peanut butter with about a 1/4 cup of pumpkin puree. This is not the pumpkin pie filling, it's the actual puree. And then I'm also adding in about a 1/4 cup of honey. I'm also adding in about 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and just getting all of that mixed together. The original recipe actually did say to use a KitchenAid mixer, but I just felt like trying it out with a bowl and a whisk and seeing how that turned out, and it worked totally fine. So if you don't have a KitchenAid, feel free to just do it with a bowl and a whisk like I'm doing, and you should be good to go. Now moving on to some of the other ingredients. Here I have a 1/4 cup of ground flaxseed with a tablespoon of chia seeds, and then I'm also adding in about 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. And to really make the pumpkin pie flavors come out, we're adding in 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger. You're going to need 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, as well as about 1/8 teaspoon of ground cloves, and then just a little pinch of sea salt, and that is going to be pretty much all of your spices for this recipe. I got all of that mixed together really well before adding in my rolled oats and the chocolate chips. Now for all of the dry ingredients, I'm adding in 1 1/4 cup of rolled oats. These are the old-fashioned kind. And then I'm adding in a little over 1/4 cup of mini chocolate chips, and you're just gonna get all of this mixed together. I did end up adding in just a tiny bit more rolled oats, probably about 1 tablespoon, because I felt like my mixture was really sticky, but you don't have to do that. See what yours is looking like and go from there. But these turned out so good. I love the flavor of these. These spices were absolutely perfect. They were not overpowering at all. So just get all of that mixed together. And then I did decide to cover mine up for about 10 minutes and just let it chill in the fridge. The recipe did not say to do this, but I felt like it would make the balls stick together a little bit better, but not be super sticky when I rolled them out. After letting that mixture cool in the fridge for about 10 minutes, it was a little bit set and good to go, so I just rolled these up into balls. I did probably a couple tablespoons. I just used my cookie dough scooper and rolled them out that way. If you try any of these recipes, it's gotta be this one. It was super good. It just had a little bit of pumpkin flavor in there with the spices. They were perfect, and these have been really delicious to snack on throughout the week, so I highly recommend trying out this recipe. My son, who is 2, also has really been enjoying these, so they're definitely toddler approved. I noticed that I had some apples in my fridge that were just starting to get a little bit soft. They weren't going bad or anything, but they just had a couple of soft spots on them, and they weren't quite as crispy as I liked them. So I just pulled these right out of the fridge. I ended up peeling them and coring them, and I decided to make an applesauce. And I have to say, my kids have been loving this. They pretty much devoured it within the first 2 days, and that is saying something because my kids typically don't like applesauce from the store, so making it from scratch is so much better and way more delicious. So I'm just peeling these. I got all of the cores out, and then I'm just roughly chopping them up. You don't have to cut them into small pieces at all, but just cut them into like thirds. I threw them into my Dutch oven pot. I would suggest using kind of a heavy bottom pot for this one, or you could even throw them in your crock pot and cook them that way. You just want to cook them until your apples are nice and soft. Here are all of my apples. I'm just covering them with a little bit of cinnamon, probably about 1/2 teaspoon, and then I'm just adding in 1/4 cup of water, just enough to cover the bottom so that nothing burns. And then I just cooked these over medium heat for about 20 minutes, and they turned out perfectly soft. Make sure that they are fork tender and you can stick a fork right through them. And then I'm just using my hand blender from K&L to mush these up. Now this is where I really love an immersion blender. I usually have to throw things like this into my blender, but since I have this immersion blender now, I don't have to do that, and it cuts down on the dishes. It just makes the whole process really nice and easy. So I just put everything right into this bowl, and this is actually what I stored the applesauce in. So the only part that I had to wash is just that little attachment right on the end, and it really cut down on the dishes. So if you guys are interested, I will have their website linked down below. They have a ton of different kitchen products, but you guys are really going to love this one, and this applesauce turns out absolutely fabulous. Next up, of course, I had to prep some pancakes, but I definitely had to do a fall edition one, so we are making some pumpkin pancakes. So here I am mixing up all of my wet ingredients first. So I have a cup of that pumpkin puree with 1 egg, 1.5 cups of milk, as well as about a teaspoon of vanilla extract and about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. And I'm gonna get all of this mixed together before adding in all of my dry ingredients. And now for the dry ingredients, I have 2 cups of regular all-purpose flour. I'm also adding in about 1/4 cup of brown sugar. You're gonna need 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, as well as about 1 tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice. And you're also going to need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I will have all of the recipes that I'm using linked down below, so they'll be super easy for you guys to follow along with. Once I have all of those dry ingredients in there, I'm just giving this a good mix together. Now I'm just moving over to my griddle, so I'm just spraying that with a little bit of oil, and then I'm just throwing all of that pancake batter right onto this griddle. Now this is a product that K-Now sent me, and I have to say I really do love this griddle. It is a really good size. This is their 24 by 12 griddle, so this is great if you are into meal prepping ahead of time like I am, or if you just have a really large family and need to cook big amounts of food at one time. This is a great griddle for that. Another feature that I do really like is that their handles are removable, so it just makes it a little bit smaller for storage, which is great because griddles can be a little bit bulky to store, but I really have been enjoying this griddle. I will have their website linked down below if you guys are interested. Definitely check them out. I think you guys will really enjoy their products. And here is how the pancakes turned out. They were absolutely delicious, a nice pumpkin flavor but not too spicy or anything. And then I'm just throwing these into a nice Ziploc bag for quick and easy storage. That is going to wrap up today's video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this fall food prep. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit that little subscribe button if you have not already, and don't forget to check out K-Now. I will have all of their information listed in my description box, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!